Good evening, collectible connoisseur. It's been a little while since I made a video, and I thought tonight's a good night for it. So I've got a couple. I think there's 2 dozen here. Ken Griffey Jr. graded cards that I've either accumulated recently or have had kind of out to sort through and dink around with, and getting ready to put them back away, and thought, hey, maybe I'd just show them off real quickly. We'll run through them pretty quickly, and I'll say something along the way. Here's a 2020 Topps update. This slab is not labeled correctly. This would be a rainbow foil card. You can see kind of the colored reflection that's within the card, and it should say that up here on the label. It does not. 2001 Fleer Grassroots Ken Griffey Jr. Early 2000 Fleers, they had so many of these little subsets. I love this. I think this is great. Ken Griffey Jr. just running. Looks like a Field of Dreams type of card, but that's 2001 Fleer. How about 2000 Bowman's Best? Again, another funky little subset. This is selections, and best selections. It's celebrating the best draft picks of subset of the best draft picks, of which Ken Griffey Jr. is deemed one of them. In fact, I would say there's probably a good argument that he's one of the best draft picks ever. He was #1 overall when he came out of high school. Die cut card, that's kind of cool. PSA 9 grade. Always hard to get a good grade on die cut cards because there's funky little edges and corners and cuts in these, and so happy with that card. That's a good looking card. 1999 Upper Decks Ionics. I think I'm getting a lot of reflection in the camera, and I apologize for that. PSA 9. 1999 Fleer Ultra RBI Kings. PSA 9. One of the reasons that I had these out, by the way, just to kind of keep chatting, 1998 Bowman Chrome Ken Griffey Jr. Again, I apologize for the reflection. I'm going to have to figure out how to do a better job filming. One of the reasons I had these out was I like to participate in, this is 1997 Pinnacle Certified. Again, bad reflection. You can see everything in the room behind me. I like to register my cards on the PSA registry site. PSA is the grading company. You can see right there at the top. Stands for Professional Sports Authenticator. It's a subdivision of a company called Collectors Universe. But they offer a pretty robust website where you can take the cards that have been authenticated by them and register them. And what they have is, I keep my own little spreadsheet of what cards I have, so that it's always easy to tell if I'm kind of browsing amongst cards on eBay or whatever. I might run across the 1997 Upper Deck and say, hey, that's a fine looking card. I'd love to get a copy of that. Before I pull the trigger, I can consult my spreadsheet to see if I already have a copy of it. The PSA website kind of takes it one step further by registering your cards on their website. This is 1996 Bowman. You can not only create a list, but then they have some curated registries or sets that you can post your cards to, and in doing so you can see other collectors and how you rank, I guess, against them in how complete your set is. I believe like the Ken Griffey Jr Master Set, and this is the 1996 Leaf Steel PSA 9, is that Master Set is about 5,500 cards strong. But there are other sets that Ken Griffey Jr. Has or appears in. 1995 Conlon collection. Ken Griffey Jr. With image of Joe Jackson behind him. There's a series of these with kind of all-time great players, and Ken Griffey Jr. kind of in front of him. But this is the 95 Conlon collection in the zone. You know, people like Joe Jackson, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, etc., etc. Anyways, back to PSA. So there are different sub-registries that you can kind of post your cards to. I mentioned the Master Set, but then there's like the Ken Griffey Jr. base card registry on which the 1995 SP Ken Griffey Jr. would appear, PSA 9. And in doing so, you can, not only it provides maybe smaller bite-sized goals. I want to fill that base set, for instance, which is only several hundred strong instead of 5,000 plus strong for the Master Set. This is the 1994 Collector's Choice Silver Signature Edition. You can see kind of a reproduction autograph in silver foil on the card. This is actually a checklist card, but 1994 Collector's Choice. So I participate that, and it's kind of fun. Kind of one of the things I alluded to is you can see where you stand versus other collectors. I'm no high. I mean, I'm small potatoes. 1994 Flair, Ken Griffey Jr. PSA 9 Flair. Say that a few times. I think the highest ranking that I have on any set is like 8, and even at that, I don't think I've completed more than 20% of any of those sub-registries. 1994 Pinnacle Tribute, Ken Griffey Jr. I think all of these stacks of cards are PSA 9s. 1992 Stadium Club, Ken Griffey Jr. And while I mention grades, let's riff on that for a moment. I like I'm not a grade snob, as you can see. I collect mostly cards that are graded mint 9. In general, I look to collect. I want my grade 9 to be same as the decade 92 up here, or better. I kind of figure that grading came to predominance somewhere in the mid 2000s. I think it's actually been happening since the early 2000s, maybe even late 1990s. But it's really only kind of really gained market share, if you will, become popular since the mid 2000, maybe even 2000 teens. 1992 Ultra, Ken Griffey Jr. in a 9. And so, I figure that, all right, if it started, let's just say 2010, where people really started sending cards to be graded. The older the card, a 1991 Bowman card in 2010, at that point was about 20 years old. So you would figure that the older the card, the harder it is to get a good grade. So I'm looking for a grade that corresponds with the decade. And so on a 1980s card, I would want an 8 or better, a 1970s card, a 7 or better, etc., etc. Once you get up to the 1990s and into the 2000s, when, you could open a pack and then, really submit it to be graded, I figure, those cards haven't been, outside of a slab for so long, and, I expect and want a better grade. So I'm shooting, again, with my Ken Griffey Jr., the era that he played in, most of my grades I want at a 9 or better. 1991 Donruss, Ken Griffey Jr. It's a 1991 Topps Ken Griffey Jr. All-Star card, PSA 9. Just a few more interesting little oddball here. In 1990 Panini Sticker, Ken Griffey Jr. In addition to cards, companies like Panini and Topps will publish or generate stickers, and create a sticker album, so you can not only collect but then display or have your collection in a central place. Here's a 1990 Sport Flicks Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know if you can see that these cards kind of have that dual picture motion associated with them. I don't know that it's captured very well on camera, but there it is. 1990 U.S. playing card. I know that we've seen a U.S. playing card. I've shown one in the video before, in a previous video. I remember talking about U.S. playing card being located in Norwood, Ohio, which is not far from where I am. But here's a different one. All-Star Jack of Spades, PSA Mint 9. Last card from his rookie year. Not the most popular set, but this is the 1989 Classic Travel. This is their Update 1 series, Ken Griffey Jr, PSA 9. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I'll be digging through my cards, and we'll come up with something again soon.